Yeah. What do you think about affirmation?
Affirmations?
Yeah. I hate when somebody's telling me that I got to wheel something to fucking make it happen. It just drives me insane. Sometimes you're just fucking pissed off or depressed or happy or something like that. And things just kind of either work out or they fucking don't. But I don't think like
affirmations are good when they're yours and they come from your heart and you're just saying it to yourself from a good place.
So some
like,
life coach isn't going to tell you what you
can't rewire your thought process by repeating a phrase in the mirror over and over again, because your subconscious has set beliefs.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe something, you can't just talk yourself into believing it. Something has to happen to change your belief system. That's all bullshit, man. Well, that's all bullshit. Like putting in like headphones and like having like whatever binaural beats in, it's going to rewire your subconscious to think in a successful way. No one even knows what successful really is, by the way. We can even get into that as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Like society has created a certain economic system that only rewards a certain personality type.
Yeah.
And also it's like, dude, not everyone has that personality type, and not everyone should have that personality type. There are people that don't have a lot of ambition, that are like artists and creative thinkers, that are probably never going to go anywhere or make it or even be homeless, and they shouldn't be. It's just because the structure that we're in doesn't reward that type of thinker or that type of character type. And just because you're not that type of character doesn't mean that you're flawed. The system is flawed. The way we live this life is flawed. It's not you that's flawed necessarily. That's bullshit. Charles Bukowski is one of my favorite writers of all time. You should look into him if you don't know who he is. Yeah. And one of my favorite things he ever wrote or said was basically like there ought to be a place for people that don't have the ambition to like be like whatever, CEOs and shit like that. Yeah. People that like don't really want much out of life. They shouldn't be punished and relegated into like obscurity and looked down on and mocked and frowned upon because they don't have that drive, if you will. Not everyone is meant to have that drive. If everyone was supposed to be exactly the same way, do you understand it couldn't work? There'd be a gridlock. So like people say like, oh, it comes down to how bad do you want it, right? How hard have you worked? If you put the work in, you're going to get the reward. That's not true. And I know that from sports. Yeah. I know that from boxing. There are two boxers that get into the ring. Each worked their entire life to get to that point. Each has the utmost confidence, the utmost belief, did the utmost training, blah, blah, blah. And one wins and one loses, even if they have the equal amount of belief and desire to win that fight, because one guy either got a lucky shot or is more talented or he just had a bad style from you. It's not always your fault when you fail. Sometimes it's just the way that it is. It's not always that way. It's bullshit, man. Yeah. Dude, when you adopt that mindset of like, positive belief and like you can control everything, you can manifest whatever destiny you want, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. All it does is it just weakens you when it doesn't happen the way that you want. You think that there's something inherently wrong with you. It's dangerous. Be careful. Yeah. Be careful.
Well, I mean, if you're manifesting destiny, right?
Manifesting destiny. Yeah. What if I want to build a railroad across your house?
I don't.
Exactly.
Both of our destiny and they collide.
What the fuck?
There you go.
So who wins then?
Yeah.
The guy who wants it more. It's bullshit.
When you call up and go, well, I guess your destiny won, and you hang up.
It's bullshit,
It's dumb. Bro. It's dumb. It really is. Sometimes shit just doesn't work out, and sometimes it does. And that's just a fucking bottom line, dude. You know
and also, like, everything is subjective. We don't inherently know exactly what is always right and wrong, or what you should be or shouldn't be, or what's good and bad, and all that stuff, dude.
Plenty of misguided decisions every fucking day, dude.
How many originals, which is basically all of them throughout history, every original thinker, every original artist, every original whatever the fuck it is, they were always the outliers, the ones on the outskirts of society that society didn't accept, that rejected them, that they were told would never amount to shit. That's why you hear those stories all the time. Everyone told me I would be nothing. Yeah. Everyone said I couldn't do it, and I wanted to prove them wrong. No, that's bullshit. That's confirmation bias, man. You say that after you've won, and then you backwards rationalize these things to make it fit that profile of it was because of this thought process, because of these things, blah, blah, blah. But you could have absolutely lost, and you could have absolutely become nothing. And the only thing that matters is how you are in God's eyes and nowhere else. That's it. Also, like, it's like, what are the sheer odds, right? So depending on your belief system, whether or not you're spiritual or whether or not you believe in, like, the afterlife or, souls and all that stuff. So my belief system is this. And if you agree with this, then you'll understand what I'm saying. I think that this is one of many realities. I think that we are infinite, eternal beings that are made out of one substance, and I think that God does exist. I think the reason for this place to exist is to experience context, texture, and every degree of everything in between. So if that's the case, right, and you're supposed to be here to experience different types of lives, different ways of being, different experiences, different tastes, different smells, different sounds and all that stuff, why would everything be uniform in one way to be right? There is no right, there is no wrong. Everything is subjective, and the best thing that you could do is just, be a loving person, try not to hurt anyone, Go to this world and do the best you can. It's not that if you don't achieve X, Y, and Z that you're nothing. That's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. It's possible that we choose our lives before we come here. And maybe I choose to experience hardship.
Yeah.
Maybe I chose to experience poverty. Maybe I chose to experience being rich. Maybe I came down here for a vacation life. I just wanted a good one this time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's possible. That's not outside of the realm of possibility. We don't know. We just absorb and we analyze based on the reality we're in now, and we don't have all the information or all the facts. We don't really know what's going on, and we sit here and we preach and we talk to people as though we do. It's bullshit.
Maybe
man.
it's a one of those things where you're working towards the good one, kind of like a punch card at a yogurt shop. Like all right, so I have childhood leukemia in this one, but the next one, you're telling me that I'm like Jeff Bezos, right? Does that make, you know what I mean?
What if, think about it like this. Let's say you're an eternal being, right?
Yeah.
That lives forever.
Yeah.
And outside of this body that you're in now, this life that you're in now, you've had 1,000 other lives that you've come down here to experience. And now let's say you're back on the other side and you're like, you know what? I've experienced wealth. I've experienced joy. I've experienced this X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
What's going to add? What's going to add to my soul so I can understand even more?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe this time I come down here to experience hardship, to be an addict, or to be fucked up, or whatever the fuck it is. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe I come down here to have that because my soul's experienced so many different things. Then that's something new and novel that I've never had before, and that's going to actually add and lend to my soul's growth. Maybe that. Maybe. And if that's the case and you came down here and you chose that life path and then you get here and you wake up in this body and the world tells you that you're a piece of shit and you're not achieving enough and you're wrong and blah, 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 and this and that, you should do this. And it's all about results and it's all about action. It's all about attitude. And like, you should think this way and you should be that way and blah, blah, blah. Maybe all that's what's actually bullshit. And all you really need to do is actually just come from a good place in your heart, which is why it says in the Bible that God judges you from the reins of your heart. It's not about what you have. It's not about what you've done. It's about being a decent human being, trying your best, being a sinner, failing, fucking up, and then coming back and saying, you know what? I need you. I love you. I understand I'm no better than any of these people, no matter what my life has become.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where empathy and goodness comes from, is from fucking up. Maybe that.
I'd say so. Especially, you kind of you got to experience those things to ever have that type. Like I've noticed a lot of people with like pretty easy goes of it, and they just do not understand.
Don't
why
you
they should
think
be
that it's interesting,
kind,
dude? There's ultimate realities that like permeate through all of existence. Don't you think it's interesting that almost every spoiled kid is rotten?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And a lot of the abused or the people that are fucked up that had to overcome a lot of challenges become the most valuable of the people that exist on this planet. Have you ever considered that? So maybe that there's a good inherent in the struggle and in the fight and in the perseverance. Maybe just being coddled and pampered and having everything isn't the end all be all. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows? And who knows when you're supposed to have it? Maybe you're never supposed to have it. Maybe you are supposed to at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe you're here for a different purpose. Who knows?
Yeah.
Some people are here just to create art.
Yeah.
Some people are here to to have an impact on mass psychology. You know what I mean? Like, the consciousness.
Freud or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I got you.
People have different jobs.
Yeah.
Like your body has different jobs inside of it. Like you have an immune system, you have an endocrinology system, you have veins running through your body, you have a blood, you know what I mean? All that shit, your heart pumps, blah, blah. It all has different jobs, but it all has a purpose. And they're not supposed to be the same.
Like Carlin to make people.
I'm butchering this, but you get what I'm saying, though, right?
No, I got you. Absolutely, I get exactly what you're saying. You're not butchering it. Yeah.
And then we sit here and we put a value on it based on like what society praises and lifts up and where you end up in society.
Yeah.
And that's what's bullshit.
Yeah.
Not you as an authentic individual person.
Well, sure. I don't think Van Gogh was very rich, or Picasso, and their art's been passed down for fucking hundreds of years now.
Do you know that a lot of those guys, like Leonardo da Vinci, like he actually was a lazy person. He actually didn't finish 99%. Yeah, no, that's Michelangelo. But Da Vinci didn't finish most of his projects and his commissions. He thought he was a loser until he was in his mid 40s.
Okay,
he didn't like get actually popular and like do great things until like way later in his life.
Yeah,
his whole life he thought he was a fuck up and just couldn't pay attention and couldn't get shit done. And now we hail him as one of the greatest geniuses of all time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like interesting.
Let me ask you this though, like his art that he did finish, like were those pieces done or did other people come over and help out?
They were done.
Yeah.
Do you know what actually made Da Vinci?
Oh, he would do it and then throw it out and shit.
No,
like
he
that.
would like people would commission him to do a job and he would like do half of it and never finish and then pursue his own interests. He was a guy who had like multiple he was like involved in like mechanics and like physics and science and all that stuff, painting at the same time. Do you know what made his painting so good? Is that Leonardo da Vinci studied the human body and anatomy from like tissue to veins to like skin to skull structure and all that, all the way up. So when he would paint layers like that. He would paint like the fucking blood system, and then paint over that, and then paint over that, and create all the layers, which makes it give him the realistic.
Veins and doom, boom,
yeah,
boom,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his broad spectrum of like curiosity, if you will, actually lent to his greatness in the end. But his entire time on this planet, he was insecure and thought that he was a fuck up and a loser. Yeah. And he's one of the greatest people that ever lived. This overconfidence bullshit is nonsense. Yeah. It's nonsense,
like,
dude.
They weren't perfect. He painted real bodies, too. Yeah, that is a trip, huh?
It's nonsense. So this idea that like all these people that were great people in history knew from the time they were a kid, or they just knew their purpose and all that crap. Yeah. That happens sometimes, yes, but that's not for everyone. And you don't know exactly where you're going to end up. So have some humility and just understand that it's a journey and we don't exactly know what we're doing. And you can't just have that just because you want it.
Okay, so you're challenging.
It drives me nuts.
When they talk about the chosen, you're challenging that. You're thinking that these people or these beings
even
already knew
most
what
of the
their job was
chosen
and kind of
didn't know that they were the chosen.
Yeah. Until everything,
and even then they're probably going to tell you that they're not the chosen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bullshit, man. This is all like this new age hubris bullshit is nonsense, dude. Get rid of it. I promise. I'm a confident guy, but I don't think that I just know everything because I'm confident.
Like
I can't just will whatever I want into existence. That's nonsense, man. It's bullshit. Yeah. Also, why would I want to? With my limited human mind and my limited understanding at the age that I'm at now, why would I want to create whatever this mind and this heart wants when I don't even know what the truth is about reality and what's actually good for society at an overall level? Like, we can't see that far ahead that we think that we can. We think we know what's right and we think we know what's wrong, but we actually don't really know until years and years and years pass. Things are very vague. They're very vague, man. I'm
going to take the human mind stuff that I could conjure up because, like, remember Dr. Manhattan? Like, just went up and built some big glass thing.
Yes.
That shit was boring, bro. Go down there and do whatever you want. You know what I mean? He's like, I want to be alone. He just like builds that big old glass fucking house. You know what I mean? So it's like when you got to like God level.
Dr. Manhattan's one of my favorite characters ever.
Man. Fucking awesome.
Dude, like, one of my favorite things is he goes, miracles by their definition are meaningless. Only that which can happen does happen. Yeah. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I'm not saying that God doesn't exist or miracles don't exist, but miracles, the way that we perceive them, are not real. Everything is possible because everything is possible. That's really all it is. And we're here with hard, fast rules, and things are not as cut and dry as it seems. It's not that obvious what to do.
I like when they take him to like this everyday normal guy kind of falling in love and doing his job and stuff like that into what he's become. Oh God, so
dude, he looks at the girl at one point in time and he goes, if you could see the world how I see it, he's like, you would understand. He's like, let me show you.
Yeah.
And he just touches her and starts like putting images in her head. But it's like, dude, like, if you think that our human species and our human minds are able to perceive all of reality and how it ties together, we know very little. Yeah. We know a drop in the bucket as opposed to what's actually going on in the universe and out in reality. Yeah. How the fuck do we have the arrogance to say that we know what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong when we don't even understand how like all these parts interact with each other in the grand scheme of things?
What these things
we have no idea what's happening, dude. Yeah. We don't know anything about space. We surmise a bunch. We have like theoretical physicists and all that crap. We've never been to the bottom of the ocean. We don't even know all the entities that exist on this planet yet. We have no idea what's going on. We're babies.
Well, the guy that we trust the most about space wanted to see midgets that couldn't reach a chalkboard doing math equations, which is obviously the closest thing to little kids he could do.
100%.
You know what I mean? Absolutely.
It's
you
ridiculous.
don't need a midget that can't reach the board, the chalkboard. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely. Tell me that, you know?
So that's all I'm saying.